Hello, how are you? Today I brought an easy and absolutely wonderful recipe for you. It's such a really interesting video that you won't want to miss it. I'm going to prepare a healthy mortadella for you, 100% natural, using only ingredients that are good for your health. Throughout the video, I'll tell you what these ingredients are and why I'm using them in this recipe. If you have high blood pressure and your doctor told you not to eat mortadella, I know this happens sometimes, or if you have intestinal problems and your doctor says you shouldn't eat processed meats, you can have this recipe. Even elderly people, children, and for ourselves, for those of us who like to eat healthier foods in our daily lives, knowing exactly where what we consume comes from, which is very important. Stay with me until the end. You won't want to miss it. Before I start this recipe, which is very easy, you'll see that you don't even need to know how to cook. Anyone can make it. If you're new here, welcome. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. There are new videos every day and you won't want to miss them. If you know someone who needs this recipe, share this video right now. This is very important for me and for the people who receive it as well. So let's work on this, helping each other out. That's what we need most these days. Without further ado, let's get started with our recipe, which is very easy. The first thing I have here is my boiling water. It's just water in here. And I'm going to add the chicken breast. I've already cut the fresh chicken breast into smaller pieces to make it cook faster. My water is already boiling here. So I'm going to gently put the chicken into this boiling water. The big difference when you make mortadella at home is that the protein is of high biological value. When you buy that industrial mortadella, they don't use chicken breast, they don't use the prime cuts of pork, they use trimmings, leftovers, byproducts from the food industry. When we talk obviously about a healthy food, it's impossible to consider using those bouillon cubes or pre-made seasoning packets because you know they're loaded with sodium, monosodium glutamate, preservatives, colorings, flavorings, a bunch of things we don't want to use in our daily lives. So I've selected several completely natural seasonings that are really interesting for our health. The first thing I'm going to add here is leek. If you can't find it in your city, that's not a problem. I'm including many different seasonings to add more flavor and of course for their positive properties. Leek belongs to the same family as onion and garlic, which is the allium family, and it's closely linked to good immunity and strengthening our body, so we're adding it here. Garlic is also a natural antimicrobial, so it's really beneficial for us to consume as much as possible. I'm going to add a carrot here, sliced into rounds. I'm adding all of this to give more flavor, to infuse more taste. The carrot is also very rich in beta-carotene, just like paprika, which I'm going to add now, and which is extremely high in vitamin A. So it's really great for our health, for the proper functioning of our eyes, and overall it's very beneficial. Plus it will also help give our chicken some color. I'm adding cayenne pepper because I love spicy and well-seasoned food, as you already know. If you're making this for children, you can skip this part. I also have black pepper here. I have a bit of salt here as well. If you have high blood pressure, don't overdo the amount of salt because you know you need to keep that in check. And since we're adding a lot of fresh seasonings, you'll see that you don't need to use too much salt. This is really important. I'm going to add some rosemary in here. Leave it whole like this so we can take it out later. I'll add chives and parsley because the best seasoning in the world for chicken is always parsley. Besides, chives are also from the garlic family. And parsley really helps reduce bloating. So if you have high blood pressure and don't eat mortadella because your doctor forbade it, this one here not only won't harm you, but will actually do you good. Now I'm gonna let all of this boil. Wait for the chicken to get really cooked and tender, and I'll be right back. If you want to use a pressure cooker, that's fine too. I'm gonna let it cook here, and I'll be back soon to show you how our recipe is coming along. I'm back. My chicken is already well cooked here and I've separated the broth from cooking the chicken. I only removed the rosemary. The parsley and green onion, I just set them aside. You can use the carrot for something else later. I'm not going to add the carrot here to blend because otherwise it will have too strong a carrot flavor and that's not really what we want. Before starting the next step, I took a little water and I'm going to hydrate the gelatin. This gelatin here is unflavored. To hydrate it, you do it like I'm doing, adding it little by little, and then it will absorb the water. After that, we heat it up to mix. You can dissolve it in the microwave in 10-second intervals until it's fully dissolved. You can also dissolve it in a double boiler. It's really up to you. Let's leave it here to hydrate for a bit. It will absorb the water and then we'll heat it up. Now I'm going to blend the chicken with this liquid. So I'll add the liquid along with the seasonings. This is really important to make sure the flavor turns out delicious. We add the seasonings here so we don't waste any of that wonderful taste. And let's add some of our chicken in here now as well. I've already blended this small amount of chicken that I had put in earlier. Now I'm going to add the rest of the chicken to the blender along with a little water because it's already very creamy and thick down here. So add a little more water, and with the blender turned off, I'm going to carefully mix it here. Be careful. Whenever you stir with a spoon in the blender, it always has to be turned off for safety. Now, after making sure everything is mixed well, we close the lid again securely and blend the mixture until it's smooth. While it was blending, I went ahead and carefully dissolved my gelatin here, and it's going to be added together with our delicious chicken pate here. Now here's a special tip. If you want it to have more of a mortadella color, you can add a natural beetroot coloring, which is what I made here. You cook your beetroot the way you're used to, and you'll have that leftover beetroot water, which is super rich in vitamins and minerals. In fact, beetroot is very good for helping to expand our blood vessels. So it helps relax the blood vessels and improves blood pressure. So it would really be a great addition for us to use here. Just be careful, because if you add too much beetroot water, it will end up tasting a lot like beetroot. If we want to add it to give it more of a mortadella color, because right now it looks more like chicken pate, if you want to stop here, that's totally fine. If you want the benefits of beetroot, add about 2 spoonfuls, which is what I'm going to do here. Just enough to color it, and I'll show you how it's turning out. Look, it really has the color of mortadella now, just like the mortadella you buy at the supermarket or bakery. Here I have a plastic water bottle, a PET bottle which I greased with olive oil. You can use another type of PET bottle as long as it's food grade, please, because some people take cleaning product bottles and want to put food inside. So never do that. It's very dangerous for your health. It can be a water bottle, a bottle from another drink, whatever you're used to buying. You wash it, grease it with a little olive oil, and then you take our mixture and pour it in here. Look at its color, how it really looks like mortadella. Let me scrape this out here. The smell is really wonderful. And now we take it to the fridge. Give it a few taps on the bottom like this so there aren't any air bubbles. I'm going to put it in the fridge now to chill. I'll be back to show you the texture and tell you how long it stayed in there. Look, I just took it out of the fridge. In my fridge, it took 3 hours. Yours might be colder or less cold than mine, so it could take a bit more or less time. But for you to know when it's ready, look, it's completely firm here. And if you pull on the side here, look, you can see it's coming loose on the sides. See all of it coming loose. Now I'm going to take this out carefully. If my PET bottle were smooth, I could just make a hole here at the bottom and it would come out because the vacuum would be released. But since it has this shape, I think I'll have to cut it with scissors. Look how amazing it turned out, and you can see how much you'll get out of it. If you slice it to put in a sandwich, even for your kids to take as a snack to school, it's a really good amount and much more nutritious. You'll have a healthy mortadella. There's no curing salt, no monosodium glutamate, no preservatives, no coloring, no stabilizers, none of that. I'm going to cut a few slices now to show you what it looks like inside. And when I come back, I'll give you some tips on how you could make this mortadella even better. Look how it turned out. Delicious. And really just like the mortadella you buy at the supermarket. What could you put inside here? I'll eat a piece at the end so you can see. You can add some pieces of olive. After you've blended everything and added the gelatin, you can simply chop up some olives. The ones with pimento inside work really well too. Only if you don't have high blood pressure, since olives have a lot of salt. There's a video here on the channel that explains more about that too. You can add some pieces of cheese inside or some larger peppercorns if it's for adults. It really depends on your creativity. Besides that, you can even make it with another type of meat, like pork. In fact, if you want me to make another recipe for pork mortadella, just let me know in the comments and I'll be happy to make it for you. Share this video with anyone you know who would enjoy this information. Tell me down in the comments how you're going to make it. Are you going to make it exactly like this, or will you try some of the changes I mentioned? I'd love to read your comment here. Like the video, it helps me out. Subscribe to the channel and turn on the notification bell. I have new videos every day with these super healthy, delicious, and affordable recipes. And also with lots of tips on health, nutrition, and weight loss. You won't want to miss them. See you next time. Bye.